rather it's going to be, it's not yet, it's just a piece of Celotex loft insulation foam at the minute and some model components. This is what I use for the base of my model railways quite often. Not always, sometimes I use plywood and I put some 2B1, that's 2" by 1" wood, around it to strengthen it up. That's what I've done with the Celotex, is I've put some 2B1 underneath it. I've glued it all around, and there's a few reasons for that. One, it gives it a bit more strength when I take off this upper silver layer of Celotex. I'm going to peel that off to give me a modelling surface, and also so I can dig down into the Celotex. Now, if you don't put wood underneath it, the Celotex will curve. And that's not what you want. The other reason is the battening gives me something to screw in the plywood sides. You can literally screw through there. You can't screw into the foam, it will just fall out, of course. But this makes for a very strong and lightweight structure. In fact, if you weren't taking the Celotex silver layer off, this silver piece off here, and you're painting and modelling straight onto that, you wouldn't even really need the 2x1 battens underneath if you weren't using back seams either. You could just build straight onto that, and that's very lightweight and very strong. So if you wanted to build a model railway layout, slide it under a bed and pull it out, that's quite a good way to do it. It is a little bit fragile, so it will get damaged around the sides, but if that's part of the look of the model anyway, that won't matter. So I'm about to put some screws into here just to help give it a bit more strength. But the instant nails, which is the glue that I use to glue the wood to the Celotex, is quite strong anyhow. This is instant nails, tough as nails, anything like that. And I've also started to get some model pieces for the layout. Now, I found these in a shop. Let's get some light on this. See if we can show you these a bit better. These are sandbags and tarpaulin covered loads, things like that. Some crates. Now this is normally intended to fit inside a wagon load. Or fit inside a wagon, it is a wagon load. Okay, but I'm going to use it as it is actually. Just stick it on the layout. And I've got a couple of wagons, I've added loads into them already, and some couplings. These were quite nicely detailed, so I think they look pretty good as they are really. I'm not going to detail them up much more. And these will be the two wagons that locomotives will pull on Explode Layout. Now Explode Layout, what is that? I haven't even explained what it is yet, is it? Explode is going to be a World War I model, very small, 4 foot by 18 inches, 2 fully automatic analogue lanes. In fact, if this is sounding familiar, it's because it's a carbon copy almost of Aftermath layout. I gave away Aftermath to Stowe-Mary's World War I Aircraft Museum, which is a brilliant place to go in Essex. I do recommend it. Please check out Stowe-Mary's, and they very kindly agreed to take Aftermath, and they're going to display it there next year once they've made a little display cabinet for it. Well, a friend of mine called Ian wanted it as well, and so I've decided to build him Explode Layout, which is a sequel to Aftermath. And really it's aftermath again, but just done slightly differently. And so these are some of the components for Explode. As you can see, I'm just re-weathering up some things that I've bought today for Explode, the tarpaulin covered pieces here, and I'm just adding a wash. Very simple way of just adding in more detail. You can see how the sandbags have been improved, and you can actually just add a little bit of variation like that as well. It's careful application and use of the brush really is all that's required. I'm painting on the back seam board, so it doesn't matter if I spill anything here because this is all going to be covered anyway with the back seam. And there we go. So these components will dry matte, a bit glossy at the moment, and over the next few days I will build Explode layout, sister to Aftermath. So there's the track plan at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm going to have 1 or 2 tracks over this bridge. I have to make sure there's enough room side by side for 2. I think there is. So I may put the bridge there. Now what I need to do, the track fits nicely at that end, but at this end there's of course a bit of overhang. So I'm going to snip it off. I'm going to snip the track with these, some tin snips. Now you can use a track saw, or whatever method you use. You may have to use a file just to sand that joint after, just to file it down a bit and make sure the fish plates go on nicely.